Hey cosplayers, it's that cosplay guy Michael again, and welcome to part 2 of episode 3. Unfortunately, episode 3 went for about a bit longer than I originally anticipated, so I had to divide it in half. So next up is going to be the list of cosplay costumes that's currently out and about. But again, as with the nature of cosplay and constructive arts in general and stuff like that, there will be new and fascinating things even after this list. So this list is always growing. Also, fair warning, some of the costumes in this list will be adult orientated. So this list is for adult audiences of 16, 18 years and over and stuff like that. It features a bit of nudity. Okay, so yeah, so I'll take you back to your regularly scheduled program. Episode 3 of That Cosplay Guy, cosplay types and cosplay costumes. Enjoy. Alrighty, final list. Cosplay costume types. Okay, the following list is currently known costume types that have been developed over the history of cosplay culture. As a note, as is the nature of any art-based culture, this list is expected to grow as more costume types are developed. So, as of 2023, this is the list of the cosplay costume types that I have found. There may be more. Please let me know if I miss any. This will be in alphabetical order. Are you ready? Great. Let's do this. The Animegao Kigurumi, also known as Dollar Cosplay. That's Dollar Cosplay. Nothing to do with the money. More to do with the action figure, the doll. These cosplays involve a full suit that covers the entire body, including a skin-colored suit to cover the arms and legs, and a mask of the character's face they intend to portray. This is very close to being a mascot suit, but it is smaller scale and human-sized. Next, Armour Cosplay. Cosplay where the character is donned in full armor. So examples of Armour Cosplay include an Iron Man suit, Spartans from Halo, Mandalorians and Stormtroopers from Star Wars, and full armored Samus from the video game Metroid. So it's a full armor, small, but full armor, you can't see the face. Okay, B, body paint. That's right, a cosplay that involves absolutely no clothes, although underwear may be worn to maintain public decency laws, where the cosplayer is entirely painted in their costume. They do not have shirts or shorts or wigs and stuff like that. They are literally painted on. Boudoir Cosplay, a variation of erotic cosplay where its primary location is regulated to the bedroom, or boudoir. Usually used for part of photo modeling. The quality of the costume is usually built around to reflect this usage and stuff like that. It's not built to be, the costume is not made to be worn outdoors and be overly durable. Stereotypically said to be used by amateur models, cosplay models, to gain attention quickly. So it's got a bad well, it's not got a bad reputation, but it's you know, I mean, regardless of its reputation, it is actually a legit type of cosplay, and it is actually a legit art form. Personal tastes aside and stuff like that, there is actually a lot of skill going into these erotic photos and stuff like that. Camera angles, type of costumes. Some of these people actually work hard on these costumes. So just because it's might be not have as much material as a full costume doesn't mean it is of lesser quality. It's just got an unfortunate reputation for it. And as as everyone in a minority culture or geek culture should know by now, that reputation is not necessarily always accurate. Okay. Minimal articles of clothing necessary to give the impression of a character or concept, such as the Yoshi onesie, or the Goku t-shirt and tracksuit, or the Sailor Moon hair buns. They are still considered cosplaying and cosplayers. They are making homage to a character that they like and stuff like that. And so yeah, still legit cosplay, guys. Next, closet cosplay. These are cosplayers who choose their cosplay based on what's obtainable from their clothing closet or clothing stores. While this may pertain to their costume, oftentimes closet cosplay will still entail a wig or some kind of prop to help enhance their costume. So an easy one would be, okay, you've got character. They will go out of the way to choose characters that don't have ostentatious costumes. So characters whose costumes would be considered civilian wear, like Android 18 from Dragon Ball Z, who has a shirt, gloves, and jeans. We got Misty from Pokemon, who's got a tank top and short shorts. All reasonably easily obtainable from your local clothing store. I think most of the main characters in Pokemon can. Ash Ketchum's got a shirt and a black t-shirt, a button shirt, and jeans and stuff like that. So, anyway, that's a closet cosplay costume that can be pulled out of your closet, items that are in your closet. Okay, couple cosplay. A type of group cosplay where the cosplayers are involved with each other in some way, and they cosplay characters who are also involved with each other in some way. Most often, the couple cosplayers will cosplay as romantic characters. So, like, they'll a Spider-Man and Mary Jane, or a Gwen Stacy and Spider-Man, or Peter. There's a Goku and a Chi-Chi, Green Ranger and Pink Ranger, Batman, Catwoman, Captain America and Peggy Carter. So you get the gist. We have two cosplayers who might be in a relationship. And so they decide to choose two characters that are also in a relationship to cosplay as, and that's a couple cosplay. Couture Cosplay. Cosplay designs are intended to reflect the methodology of couture fashion costumes, which is a one-of-a-kind high-end fashion that's supposed to push the imagination. These costumes are intentionally built for photo and display purposes rather than performative or functionality. So most of the big dresses that you see in cosplay competitions will be classified as couture cosplay. The fan costumes of old, way back in the 1980s, those will be classified as couture cosplay. Where the focus is on displaying how skilled they are in seamstressing and building the costume, stuff like that. Crossplay. This is a cosplay where the cosplayer swaps their gender to match the gender of the character. This is important. Crossplay is a cosplayer swapping where the males cosplayers will dress themselves up as a female character, and their makeup, their costume, their wigs, down to their mannerisms, some will even work on their voice. It is said to be so on point that it is next to impossible to realize that they are actually a guy. Until, you know, they take off the wig. And surprise! Okay, we have DisneyBound, bringing up D. They're a recently appearing fashion movement created as a way to cosplay as a character at theme parks that have a law that individuals over a certain age cannot dress in costume. This is to avoid being confused as park entertainers. The notion of DisneyBound cosplay is to wear an outfit inspired by a favorite character, rather than attempting to exactly copy the character's design. Again, an outfit that is inspired by the character, not the character's outfit. Next, drag. A type of cross-dressing fashion, however, where cross-dressing in cosplay is for the purpose of expressing a character that is not of the cosplayer's current gender. Drag is for the purpose of expressing a gender. Not expressing a character, but expressing the gender that is not of the cosplayer's current gender. It is often done in an exaggerated manner. So, like, I guess the famous example of drag would be a guy dressing up as a woman, right? So, they're stereotypically known to be loud and proud, and the lipstick and the eyeshadow and the makeup and the eyelashes and the wigs are huge, overly emphasized, of feminine power and beauty, and regal and huge. Again, they're emphasizing the gender, the feminine gender. So women can go and drag too. They drag as men. They are stereotypically known to do the same, but for male masculinity. So they will have large shoulder power suits, and most often mustaches or beards and stuff like that. But they usually go for the more gentlemanly, sophisticated look than the bolstering musclehead manly man. But yeah, again, so that's drag. That's the difference between drag and crossplay. Crossplay is emphasizing the character when they design their costume. Drag is emphasizing gender when creating the costume. E for erotic cosplay. Variation of the sexy version cosplay where costumes are created, modified, or worn for the purpose of inciting sexual attention and or for performing adult erotica and sexual activities. This is cosplay porn. So erotic cosplay is costumes and stuff like that designed specifically for sex in costume. Moving on to F, family cosplay. This is a type of group cosplay where the cosplayers are all family members cosplaying as either characters who are also family members or characters from the same franchise, at least. Again, it's a type of group cosplay. Examples include the Spider-Men. So there might be a Peter Parker spider, there might be a Mary Jane, there might be a Mayday Parker Spider-Girl, all in the same group, and they might be father, mother, daughter. There might be a Goku, a Chi-Chi, and walking around with a baby Gohan, or a Bulma and Vegeta walking around with a baby Trunks. Family cosplay. But this can also be in general, like, well, a famous costuming family. They do it every Halloween. Is Neil Patrick Harris's family, right? Who most Halloweens, I'm not sure if they're doing it these days, but they are well known for doing family costuming for their Halloween stuff. Okay, fursuits. A unique cosplay suit attributed to the furry fandom culture. Fursuits are stereotypically full-bodied, transformative costumes that depict anthropomorphized fictional characters, although variations do exist. Well, for those that are not in the know, anthropomorphic characters are animal characters with human traits. So I'm talking about Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes. I'm talking about Mickey Mouse and Friends. We've got Disney's Robin Hood, Zootopia, those kind of animal characters. While fursuits used by furry fandom or by majority original characters, fursuits can also be used for characters such as Digimon, Pokemon, Star Fox, Disney's Robin Hood, Zootopia. So just because you're wearing a fursuit doesn't necessarily mean you're part of the furry fandom. You could just be cosplaying as, again, you could be a Star Fox fan. That's a video game franchise, and you want to portray one of the characters in that. You might want to dress up as a Pokemon or a Digimon. To do that, you would wear a fursuit. Okay, gender swap. Cosplay where the character's traditional gender is swapped to match the cosplayers. So crossplay is the cosplayer changing their gender to match the character. Gender swap is the cosplayer changing the character's gender to match theirs. Examples include female Boba Fett, a female Bilbo, a male Elsa, or a male Sailor Moon. From my understanding, there are at least 2 characters who are immune to gender swap and crossplay. That is Ranma from the manga and anime series Ranma Half, and Soldier Mulan from, well, Disney's Mulan. And that's mainly because the characters themselves swap gender, so it's difficult to swap your gender to a character that already swaps their gender. So, okay, Gijinka Cosplay. That's a cosplay where cosplayers create humanized designs of non-human characters. Famously done amongst the Pokemon cosplayer fandom, where people might say they want to cosplay as a Charizard or an Evolution. So like that's Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, all those Pokemon. But instead of wanting to get a mascot suit or a fursuit, they will. It's almost close to DisneyBounding. But it's still a costume. It's not a fashion. So again, using the Charizard example, they might create an armor that's colored and patterned with horns and maybe some wings on the back. But it's obviously a knight in armor, but it's thematically Charizard. That's the concept of Gijinka cosplay, originating in Japan. Okay, group cosplay. This is cosplay where the cosplayer is not intended to be presented as an individual for maximum effect, but as part of a larger group of cosplayers. So this means that their costume is part of a larger group. It's not originally meant to be seen as an individual, but as like a group of 5. Classic example is Sailor Moon. So most often not, you will find there will be a full group of Sailor Scouts at a convention and stuff like that. And they will be keeping together and taking photos and stuff like that together in a group instead of individually. And that's classified as a group cosplay. So you will most often find the Star Wars Stormtroopers will actually move in groups instead of being individual because, well, yeah, I mean, it would be more impressive to see multiple Stormtroopers instead of just one individual Stormtrooper, right? So the point of the costume was to be seen amongst a group of the costumes instead of individual. That's group cosplay. We had the Halloween suit. This is a costume intended to be worn for Halloween. Stereotypically, a Halloween suit is known for being cheaper and less detailed because they are mass-produced purposes than typical cosplay costume designs. Due to this stereotype, the term Halloween suit is often used as a derogatory term amongst cosplayers and costumers. Fair enough, because a Halloween suit typically is meant to be worn for only one, well, maybe a few hours in one night of the entire year, and thrown out and ditched. It's pretty much the most it is the most acceptable form of costuming amongst the culture of non-cosplay. So the normal people out there, you are allowed to dress up as a Pokemon during Halloween, and no one will think that's weird. Any other time, they will think that's weird, and you will be shunned as a geek and a cosplayer. But during Halloween, you put on this Halloween suit, you're normal. You're one of us. So, anyway, Halloween suits typically are the ones that you see in most mass production stores. They are off the shelf bought and stuff like that. You will next to never find a costume that is classified as a Halloween suit be handmade by the actual costumer. They are most often seen as store bought. Okay, heavy cosplay. Also known as large cosplay. This is a variation of the Armour Cosplay where the armor suit exceeds typical human height and width. These are the armorers of the cosplay creator type. The armorers, the massive suits, the massive Warhammer 40k suits, the Transformers, the Hulkbuster Iron Man suits that light up, that move and stuff like that. These huge suits require minders and wranglers and stuff like that just to ensure the safety of the costume, the person inside the costume, and the safety of the people walking around the costume. Just because line of sight is nothing, you can barely hear anything inside those suits, and if something goes wrong, something really goes wrong. And sometimes the costumer themselves actually need help getting in and getting out of the suit. So again, cosplay minders, wranglers, and best buddies are lifesavers. Okay, joke cosplay. These cosplays pop up often during Halloween and amongst TikTok. This is cosplay where the cosplay's design is intentionally primitive or simple as a joke. Could be dramatically out of proportion or inaccurate from the cosplayer's body. So like a muscly male Sailor Moon with a beard. That's a joke cosplay. It's done for the funnies. It's supposed to be humorous. So you could have someone walking around in nothing but a cardboard box with Gundam written on their chest and stuff like that. That's a joke cosplay. It's intentionally done for the funnies. It's not classified as a bad cosplay or a crap cosplay because, again, it's still a costume. They're having fun. They're depicting their love for a instance, and yeah, it's joke cosplay. It's a joke, guys. Enjoy, laugh with them. Don't laugh at them. Otherwise, the problem is you. Moving on, mascots. Full-body full-body transformative costume similar in spirit to a fursuit. But while fursuit is tribute to the furry fandom and specialize in the minute details, A mascot suit largely focuses on being large and attracting attention from as far away as possible. We have the Mashup, the Mashup costume. This cosplay is combining a character with a franchise or character or concept not otherwise associated with that character. Examples include Disney princesses in Mandalorian armor. So that's Disney princess character dressed up, mashed up with Star Wars Mandalorian armor. That's a mashup. We have apocalyptic Iron Man. So we have the Marvel comic book franchise Iron Man with the an apocalypse fashion theme. Mashup. What else? We have there's a lot of zombification. So I'm not sure if it happens in your country, but here in Australia we sometimes have zombie nights, whatnot, as part of charity runs and stuff like that. And some people will zombify character costumes, so like a zombie Goku, or a zombie Spider-Man, or a zombie Batman, or a zombie sexy nurse, or a zombie. That last one probably isn't a mashup, but you get the feeling and stuff like that. It's a theme or an appearance that is not traditionally associated with that character, and then so it's mashing two worlds together, two or more worlds together. It's a mashup. Of a note, the Spider-Man and Deadpool cosplay fandoms specialize in mashups. Deadpool especially, you will find numerous Deadpools in different costumes around the world. You will find like a Halo Spartan suit Deadpool. You will find a Hawaiian t-shirt Deadpool. You'll find Deadpools everywhere, especially during the heyday of the Deadpool movies. Deadpool's everywhere. Deadpool's a classic mashup cosplay. Masquerade, arguably the costume type that started it all the way back in the original cosplay fan costume often fits under Re-enactment or Couture Cosplay in regards to garments. However, the Masquerade mask, of which there are numerous variants of Masquerade masks, when worn in conjunction with these garments, makes the ensemble a masquerade. We have naked cosplay. This is cosplay where the breasts or genitals of the cosplayer are exposed for the purpose other than eroticism. If it's for eroticism, it becomes an erotic cosplay. If it's not for eroticism, it's classified as naked cosplay. This was famously practiced in the 1970s and 80s, but is often excluded from conventions in modern time due to public decency laws. However, it still pops up. I mean, body painting is actually a variation of naked cosplay, and the body painting actually have their own conventions. We have parties such as Australia's Gay Pride Parade. In Sydney, Sydney Mardi Gras. We have the Rio Carnival party, also has naked costuming. So it's still alive and well. It's just not no longer allowed to appear in your typical convention where families attend. We have the Onesie Kigurumi. These cosplayers wear character-themed onesie pajamas. Instead of elaborate costumes, it's a type of cultural cosplay. Okay, we have the OC, that's original character. These cosplayers who choose to create their own unique characters set in an already established franchise or thematic setting. Examples include the medieval fantasy steampunk live action role playing or Renaissance fairs and stuff like that. All those characters, if they're not based on a famous or named character such as Robin Hood or the Dread Pirate Roberts, if they're just a typical warrior or barmaid or assassin or archer and stuff like that, they will be classified as an original character. But it's not just to LARPing and stuff like that. Most of the stormtroopers in the Star Wars, I'm quoting the Star Wars group a lot, but the nameless stormtroopers will be classified as original characters. The uniformed Starfleet officers of the Star Trek costuming fandom will again be original characters. What else are there? Pretty much the unnamed Spartans, unless they're cosplaying as Master Chief, will be original cosplay. Original character cosplays. Moving on, we have original design. This is cosplay of an established character wearing an outfit they have never before been seen in official material. For example, Goku wearing striped pajamas. So it's Goku, who's an established character in the Dragon Ball Z franchise, but he's wearing striped pajamas. So that's never been seen before in official material. So that's an original design costume. Original design is a type of mashup. Some original design cosplayers will actually base their work on fan art. If they see a fan art online that they like, they will base their costume on that fan art as a homage to that artist's artwork. So it's still classified as original design because it's not an officially presented costume in the actual franchise. Okay, we have a Re-enactment Kit. This is a costume worn by historic and medieval reenactors. Some fandoms, such as Star Wars and Star Trek, also refer to their costumes as reenactment kits instead of costumes or cosplays. Reenactment kit cosplays are renowned for their commitment to the accuracy in their costumes. This is very important. They do not like their costumes, their kits, to be referred to as costumes or cosplay because they feel that the term costume or cosplay alludes to a certain standard that they feel does not represent what they're going for, because reenactment kit will be, its emphasis is on reenacting that costume down to the minute detail. The ideal reenactment kit would be one that cannot be separated from the original article. So medieval reenactors, they want a reenactor of the Civil War, America's Civil War reenactors and stuff like that. Their uniforms are designed to be seam by seam exactly the same as the uniforms worn during the Civil War. That is the level of accuracy that they are aiming for. And they feel that costumes, or fan costumes, and cosplay costumes do not have that level of adherence to detail to convey what their outfits actually have, if I'm expressing myself right and stuff like that. So it's strict is not the right word. It's just a level of of love. But again, so that's a reenactment kit. Again, so like for the Star Wars and Star Trek groups, that's the same level. Usually for different purposes. Though for Star Wars and stuff like that, they want to reenact to the smallest detail the costumes seen in the movies. This might be due to just due to legal reasons, that they won't be able to use their suits outdoors otherwise because of the franchises they're representing. I'll get more into that when I start talking about the individual cosplay fandom groups, such as Star Wars, the 501st, the medieval and Civil War reenactors. Disney princess fandom groups also adhere to this level of detail reenactment kits as well. Moving on, the Sauna Suits. These are full-body character suits made of latex. Similar in spirit to fursuits, just without the fur. These suits are dubbed sauna suits due to how hot and heavy they are to wear. These are rarely seen in Australia. I don't know about America or Europe. These sauna suits include like the Predator from the Predator science fiction franchise. We have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action movie suits. Again, so you get the full latex costumes. You can't tell if there's a human in there or not. The best ones have, again, the conviction to detail that the fursuits have, with moving eyes and mouths, and the wearer can speak. Okay, sexy versions. Cosplayers of a traditionally normal-looking character, but the costume has been altered to look sexy. Maybe exposing a midriff, or the pants are suddenly tightened to emphasize the butt. Often crosses over with gender swap cosplay. The extreme version of this costume is known as Erotic Cosplay. In the Naruto cosplay fandom, it's known as Sexy no Jutsu. That's right, or Sexy Nurse. In the normal speak, I suppose, the muggles. Okay, standard cosplay. So standard cosplay, most commonly witnessed, is the cosplay that's most commonly witnessed, where a cosplayer chooses a character from some form of media that they wish to personify and dons that character's outfit as a costume. Most types of cosplay variations are variations of the standard cosplay. Stash cosplay. A costume constructed from the remnants of a cosplayer's stash of materials used to create other costumes. The costume's design is usually dictated by the contents of the cosplayer's stash. So this type of cosplay is not usually reflected on the way it looks or its quality and stuff like that. Usually you can't tell. It's usually the only person that actually knows if it's a stash cosplay or not is the person that created the costume. So it's like reheating a meal from leftovers from last night. The only person that knows that it was left over from last night was the person that made it last night. Anyway, steampunk. A fashion subgenre inspired by and used to homage the steampunk genre in fiction. Costumes usually consist of Victorian-era outfits that have been altered to reflect the character's tendency for adventure or exploration. As the genre evolved, so too did the fashion, and additional items such as body modification and gadgets have incorporated into the aesthetic. So, a bit like DisneyBound and Couture Cosplay, it's more of a fashion trend that moved into the costuming culture. Okay, last but not least, we have Yaoi / Yuri cosplay. This is a type of couple cosplay where the characters are of the same gender. Sometimes involves crossplay. This is commonly seen done by female cosplayers to express fan favorite romantic pairings that are not necessarily canon. So like a Yaoi cosplay could be two cosplayers. Let's go for a stereotype. Two female cosplayers cross-playing into male characters, and then have the male characters in a homosexual relationship, even if it's non-canon and stuff like that. So they will pretty much have their two characters being lovey-dovey, posing with each other, touching each other, maybe even kissing each other for photos and stuff like that. That's Yaoi cosplay. And same thing for Yuri cosplay, but for lesbian love. And that is the end of my list of types of cosplay costumes out there right now. But again, cosplay is a artistic culture, always inventing new things like DisneyBounding. You never know what's going to crop up next, and this list will be forever growing. I do have some questions about this list though. There is no category for pet cosplay. That's putting your pets like dogs and cats into costumes. I mean, like dressing your dog as Crypto, the super dog, or the cat as Streaky. So stuff like that. I mean, maybe you want to actually put some armor and make a battle pug. There is no category for pet costuming that I have discovered. Maybe we should make one. Yeah. But aside from that, I think that is about it. So that closes episode 3 of the that cosplay guys quest into the hows, who's, what's, where's, when's, and why's of cosplay, cosplaying, and cosplayers. Don't forget that this is a YouTube video, so you can pause and rewind and go back to the list and stuff like that if you want. But I also have a blog up with this list written out and stuff like that if you want just a PDF copy or written out, and you don't want to hear me rambling about random subjects or making random public announcements. Anyway, I think it's time for me to close up this episode. Thank you for listening, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.